We're living in a complicated world right now. There are many challenges. Climate change is happening. We just had COVID having a very serious impact. Digital transformation is happening. So the world is turning into what we call a VUCA place, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And I'm sure you've heard that term. So it's not an easy place to run a company. It's challenging. Right?
It's quite an important topic at the center of what all we do at dtac. So I think what we are seeing is definitely a very uncertain world. But at the same time, if you look at everything, there is a pattern which you can look at, a very constant pattern among all. There is a technology aspect in it. There is one thing which is technological disruptions. Second is digital adoption. And third is also digital acceleration. All those things are also taking place now as we speak about all these things. And I think technology is something where we have to see how we can take technology to the masses. It should not be limited to only few people. And that is a job in hand. dtac as a mobile operator, I think we make sure that how do we massify the availability of technology. We strongly believe that connectivity is a tool. And of course, post-pandemic, you have seen connectivity as more important. So how connectivity is really good for business is also a basic needs or basic human rights that you have a freedom of expression of your views. And if you look at the way we do business, we also not have sustainability for risk mitigation, but also we have sustainability for value creation in existing business. If I just touch upon the sustainability in respect of risk mitigation, and we have a framework which revolves around 8 different metrics like diversity and inclusion, digital inclusion, we have human rights, we have supply chain sustainability, and so on. I think in terms of sustainability as value creation, we have digital inclusion as the right strategy. How do we empower people and make sure that nobody left behind? It all starts from there. And then we bring into practice, how do we massify? And that's where this digital inclusion drive, which we have, serves the purpose at dtac.
I'd like to have a look inside dtac for a moment, if we can. Because in order to be a sustainable company, you need a sustainable mindset. Because today you have to decide about COVID. Next year you might have to take decisions about other challenges that are out there. So you need decision makers in your company to think in sustainable terms. How do you build that sustainability mindset within dtac?
I talked about the dtac framework, the way we work in the company on sustainability. And of course, we have one is diversity and inclusion. So we make sure that we have diverse people. So this is again very important we adopt. Second, we have a supply chain sustainability where we make sure that we align our agenda with also the climate change agenda. And we have a commitment on carbon footprint reduction by 2030 and also landfill masses reduction by 2023, and that we are quite solid about. Third, of course, human rights we talked about. Then coming about the talent and the mindset you talked about. We have a theme called supervisors as coaches or mentors. And this is so important that before COVID probably things were different, but as we learned that now employees want care and concern, at the same time they want things to be acknowledged. You are in a hybrid kind of a working environment now. So supervisor as a coach is very good theme where you become a partner in progress for your teams rather than becoming those traditional kind of bosses. This is very important and is working well because we have a specific modules where we teach and train our people in that area. In COVID time, we have learned the hard way that how this productivity tools like Zoom and Teams are becoming popular. So how to work in this environment, agile and hybrid setup. We do it through a concept called tight, loose, tight. Tight, loose, tight is the concept evolved with Telnor Group and also dtac done it very uniquely with local adoptions. Tight is setting the right expectations. Loose, giving empowerment to people wherever you work from. And again tight, the third T, is about measuring expectations or measuring impact. At one point in time, we had 100% people working from their homes or different locations. And still, we did the survey. We found out that if we were productive 85% before, we are still same productive as before through this tight, loose, tight way of working. And then these things came very handy, as I talked about, supervisors as mentors, and also self-leadership skills, and so on. So digital inclusion is very important, especially in the context of Thailand, because we think that everybody should be treated equally. Nobody should be left behind. Whether it is government schemes, whether it is senior citizens medical services, or people living under poverty. We realize that as countries moving from normalcy to pandemic, a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, SMEs, were going out of business because they couldn't serve on digital or online channels. They were all manual. So dtac team came up with a very good concept called Net for Living, and we said that the people can just enroll in it, and we are so happy that this program really probably created so many smiles for the people who were below the poverty and of course aspiring entrepreneurs. We at least have some specific programs here which we run for specific segments. Like for example, we run Safe Internet for online risk and also cyberbullying. This we do with the students and teachers. There we measure the impact through how many schools and how many students and teachers we have covered. dtac's commitment is to empower societies and to make sure that we connect what matters most to our customers. Under this theme, we try to do all different areas. We get to understand that even customers have high expectations from dtac towards sustainability. And I think it's never a dull day because we keep on learning and keep on improvising. But my belief is that now, with this pressure coming up from the society as well as for consumers, and many government and private sectors are also adopting this, I think soon it is changing. You have expectations, at least for dtac. The financial institutions have expectations that we will be following carbon footprints, for example. We have expectations from regulator to follow many more privacy norms. We are following, and probably we will be even following more to the same trend as you see in Europe. Yeah, so it's just a matter of time.
Many of these other things that have happened in Europe are happening here now. Governments committing to net zero, ESG capital is exploding. It has doubled last year, and it's continuing on that path.
Correct.
So there will be more money available for sustainable solutions. Consumers care about it. Governments are committed to it. Large multinational corporates around the world have committed to net zero. Many of their supply chains are in this part of the world.
That's right.
So I think the picture looks very positive for people that care about building a sustainable future. What would be some of the advice that you would give Sasin alumni based on your experience from Europe on how they could accelerate their company's transitions and actually capturing some of these opportunities that are coming with sustainability transition?
Yes, sustainability is for risk mitigation. Sustainability is for value creation for existing business, and sustainability is also for capturing new opportunities and so on. And dtac is focusing on the first two, risk mitigation, and of course value creation on the existing business. But of course, for the students here and alumni, I would definitely say that you can focus on new opportunities. Now Asia is the cusp of explosion in terms of capturing all that what has been happening in Europe and Scandinavia and of course Nordic countries. And do not take a shortcut. I think trying to understand what's the problem you are going to solve, what is your segmentation, and then try to have the full understanding of that. Like you talk about the business case, yeah, and then see, okay, I am going to attend to this part of sustainability, and I'm going to create that impact on the society. Define what you want to do, and then focus there, and committed. I'm sure you are going to create an impact on this society. There is a long tail of things to be done in the area of sustainability. And we at dtac, we believe that people are at the epicenter of business growth and sustainability. And we are the people, we are the alumni who are going to make this difference.
Some of these big challenges that we're trying to solve in the world, it can be human rights, but there's also climate change, and there's the plastic challenge that Southeast Asia is battling with. There's air pollution. So most of these big problems cannot be solved by one company. It has to be a bigger collaboration of stakeholders. And you have to bring in an ecosystem of innovation partners to find new ways of solving these problems. Can you shed some light on how dtac is working with its innovation ecosystem, with all of your partners, towards sustainability?
It all starts from within the company. You should have right kind of a mindset and right kind of a people who are doing all this. Post-pandemic, what we have been more focusing on also upskilling our talents. What we believe is that creative and critical thinking is become even more important. How do we re-innovate and rethink, on different arenas? And this is something we, discuss among the pool of talent. So that is one thing, is just to making ourselves ready for this. Now, when we have partners, then we have, regular interaction with them. We do regular inspections to check how they are doing things, and we learn from there, and then we adopt, and then again come back, improvise on the process. So what we do is that by way of monitoring, inspecting, connecting back, and improvising is a cycle which helps dtac to create that kind of environment. One very strong thing we have is zero tolerance on corruption. This is also at the forefront, where we have code of conduct training, which employees has to sign through electronic tools. 100% employees has to sign. This goes on, and I'm measured on that. But we have to make sure that 100% people are aware of it. This is again the mindset. It's part of a culture. So this is again, and this also not for us, but also our partners. So partners see that this is something different at dtac, and they see there's a value in this relationship, and then this goes on.
Yeah, so you learn from each other, you become better together, you set goals together.
Exactly, and we create a safe and rejuvenated planet.
Hopefully, yes.
I think the most important is that the leaders are empowering. Leaders are creating a fearless culture. Leaders are the ones who create a very agile and flexible way of working. Whatever we do, leaders must focus on sustainable way of doing business. I think sustainability should be at the forefront of whatever that company does. And there are no shortcuts. Focus on step one. Of course, you have the whole strategy and what you want to do, but step at a time. Because if you do well today, the tomorrow is yours. So empowering, agile way of work, and sustainability is center of everything what you do.